Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Help on the Way podcast, where we are featuring September 3rd,
Woo.
1985, from the Starlight Theatre.
What? Sorry, what?
In
Why the woo for September 3rd?
I like to just throw a woo in at some point during game's monologue, just to see if I can throw him off. And it makes me funny.
That threw me off. Truth be told,
sorry,
I was like,
well,
what?
I thought he was gonna finish the date, but he just said September 3rd, and then he made me look like an asshole for wooing for just the random date.
See that?
We're big fans.
Represent.
I remember where I was on September 3rd, 1985.
One of our 72 listeners is like, "You damn right, September 3rd." What?
Yeah.
Happy
birthday to whoever's birthday
podcast.
That is. Every week we discuss different September 3rds from the last 100 years.
Don't get me started. That's actually a pretty good idea for a podcast.
From the
Speaking of pretty good ideas of podcasts, ours.
From the Starlight Theatre in Kansas City, Missouri.
It is spelled that way. It's not. He's not just putting on.
Oh, I am putting on. I didn't even notice it was spelled.
You're not really
that
putting on like a voice. Like it's theatra. It's theater.
Well, okay. That's how you spell it. That's how it's. Yeah, but that's
England.
As someone who unfortunately has a degree in theatra, that's how you spell it.
Well, I am your co-host, The Game, here with my fellow co-hosts, Knob and Fig. Let's go ahead and share who our favorite Gallagher is. Gallagher 1 or Noel?
I like Gallagher 2.
Ooh, wild card.
Ooh, I like whichever Gallagher is playing for the Phillies tonight.
Go Phils.
Yeah.
This is off the rails.
By the time this episode comes out, the World Series will have ended, but we're recording it during Game 7.
The Phillies will have swept.
Yes.
The World Series.
So a little fun fact here: we are recording this episode right before Game 7 of the National League Championship Series between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks.
Oh, is it not the World Series?
No,
it is not.
What? Oh my God!
Yeah,
this is a big deal.
No, it is a big deal. I know it's a big deal. I've just been under the impression that it's been the World Series this whole fucking week. I, in retrospect, have looked so stupid in so many conversations.
Yeah, I'm sure New Yorkers are thrilled about this National League Championship Series.
I mean, it doesn't come up a lot, but it comes up enough that I've definitely used the words World Series around people who politely didn't laugh at me.
Or correct you.
No one has corrected me this whole time. Okay, I'm not going to let that bug me.
I have a little Phillies trivia here. So the Phillies have been around. They're one of the oldest teams in professional sports. They've been around. They've played 141 seasons, and this is their first Game 7 in a playoff series.
Wow.
Now, in those 141 seasons, they've only made the playoffs 16 times. So it's not that. Yeah, they're not. It's not that random when you hear it that way. They're the losingest franchise in the history of professional sports. But go Phils, and we're hoping.
Yeah, you said that, not me.
It's okay. You got to own that history. Like, what can you do with that?
That's true. I'm a Mets fan, so I get it.
Oh yeah.
I actually never knew that they were not in any Game 7s before.
Which is the first one that they've ever played.
Yeah, that's
So
it's quite fascinating.
We're undefeated in Game 7s.
So anyway, hence why we are a little bit silly, and we're trying to speed through this podcast a little bit quicker than normal because we're trying to catch the game. So before we go into our main event of September 3rd, 1985 at the Starlight Theatre, we are, of course, going to start with our Channel 6 news segment. And it was a bit of a busy week, kind of, in... not really. The stuff we're excited for really doesn't matter. The first thing of the week is Billy and the Kids at the Cap Theater, and I'm just going to pass that over to Knob for the report. Knob, take it away.
Sure. I didn't catch the Billy and the Kids shows. I was my show was that weekend. But I've spoken to folks who tuned into the stream and who were at the show. I'm hearing mixed things. I rag a little too much on Billy and the Kids on this podcast, so I'm going to try and keep it brief. I've heard it was just okay. I haven't heard anybody who like loved the shows. I haven't heard from too many people who felt strongly against the shows. It seems that the general consensus was that they were okay to pretty good, and that the Barr brothers were not the strongest addition compared to previous additions
So
this
who
year,
did they
like Daniel
replace?
Donato and well, Billy and the Kids, they tend to just be the core, what, 4 of them, and then they'll add other guests. It's
Okay.
usually Tom Hamilton, Bill Kreutzmann, Aaron Magner, and Reed Mathis on guitar, drums, keyboards, and bass, respectively. And
you've learned the bassist name, because in podcasts previously you would just waste time until you Google it or something.
Yes, I do. I have learned now that he is Reed Mathis. He's good. I got nothing against Reed Mathis.
Nice.
And so then usually, in addition to those 4 players, they usually like to add 1 or 2 guests. The last run, it was Daniel Donato, as well as Kanika Moore and Sierra Hull. In the past, it was Billy Strings and James Casey, those kinds of lineups. This time around, it was those 4 players plus the Barr brothers. And I think they've added a second drummer recently.
Ooh.
My biggest hot take from the Billy and the Kids weekend is I saw Jimmy Fallon sneak on their social media. And I am dead against Jimmy Fallon, so I saw that and I was like, ugh.
Wait, he was on Billy and the Kids social media?
Yes.
Yeah, he did like a little skit with them when they were in rehearsal. Okay. I've been attacked for this opinion all week, but I'm going to repeat it again on the podcast so that I can get attacked about it by more people now.
But not for another week or so.
Those Yeah. On like Sunday morning, I'm gonna get like 3 angry DMs being like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
What did you say last week?
Those Jimmy Fallon sit-ins are always dog shit. They are never good.
Terrible.
But they are always beautiful dog shit. I cannot tell you. I have watched that J-Red video 100 times. The man is a mess. It is the most off-key, out of breath Hey Jude chant you're ever going to hear. Nothing about it is good, and I am mesmerized by it, and I need to see one of these train wrecks happen with my own 2 eyes. I need to see Jimmy Fallon fuck up a jam band's encore with every fiber of my being. I need to watch him drunkenly fall down in the middle of a song. And for that reason, I'm never against Jimmy Fallon sitting in with jam bands, but it's only because I enjoy how bad it gets.
I feel like as long as you're in New York, that's just eventually going to happen.
Whenever I'm at a show at the Cap, I'm like, hey, maybe tonight could be the night.
Tonight is the night.
It never really happens twice. It's never going to happen seeing J-Rad at the Cap. I can promise you that.
Moving on from Billy and Jimmy, we go on to probably the most viral jam band moment of the week. That is, of course, one John Mayer's Dark Star Into Your Body is a Wonderland into Dark Star at his Chicago show. And he also, I think, played Bertha on that same show as well.
Yes, he played Bertha in full. This was just a little Dark Star.
So he's just straight memeing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's very much got a sense of humor about himself. Like, he takes his work seriously, but he doesn't take himself too seriously at this point. And so, I don't know. I truly think that Dark Star Wonderland Dark Star is the funniest possible thing that John Mayer could do. It is one of those things that we have joked about on online Grateful Dead spaces.
I think we've talked about on this podcast.
Without question. I have made jokes about it in setlist threads. At one point, they had a power issue in like 2018, and I think Mayer himself made a joke about how he was going to play Your Body Is a Wonderland during the electrical issues. But Dark Star Wonderland Dark Star is truly one of the silliest, funniest things I could imagine, and it truly did make me smile watching the clip.
So here's a curveball.
Yeah.
And I was actually
You
at
hate
the
it.
show. No, I loved it. And I was actually at the show when he made that joke about playing Wonderland a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was a Philly show.
No, it was a Dodger Stadium show.
Wow.
You saw Dead & Co. at
There's
Dodger
more-
Stadium?
There's way more to game than you understand.
I had no
Oh,
idea.
yeah. I went out on a business trip and I double dipped.
Secret agent man over here.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea.
Now that Dark Star Wonderland Dark Star is done, what's the next most ridiculous like mashup you could? No, not mashup, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah. I don't know. Anything else at this point is going to be a pale imitation of how ridiculously goofy Dark Star Wonderland Dark. Like he can do Scarlet waiting on the world to change fire at this point, and it would be silly. But it's always going to be resting on the shoulders of Dark Star Wonderland Dark Star. The zenith of John Mayer Grateful Dead jokes.
Terrapin Station.
John Mayer
Who
shitposting.
says?
Yeah, like he could do it, but it would just, I mean, it's just because Wonderland is the meme song. When you're doing jokes about Mayer, that's the one you go to first. So it would be funny, but not that funny. Oh,
We're all good.
Folks, yeah, so John Mayer is playing Dead songs on his solo shows. And it almost, I'm not sure if he's playing them every solo show.
it seems like every like other night at this point.
Yeah, it definitely seems like through my social media, I'm getting a constant feed of fresh John Mayer takes of Dead songs. So
yeah, did you get shown the clip of him playing Bird Song to a bird over FaceTime?
Yes,
that was wild.
Yes, I did. Yes, he is. He really is coming full circle, that John Mayer. But our final bullet point of the week, I will hand over to Fig. Fig, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so this is a little bit of subreddit chatter. There's not too much going on the subreddit, except for just a deluge of posts about John Mayer, Dark Star, Your Body Is a Wonderland, Dark Star, and reactions
Plus
to
someone
that.
got a tattoo.
Not really, actually. Always, and they named their dog Bertha or something. Actually, I didn't see too much chatter about Dark Star, but I heard about it. But you know, it's just something that happened. But there is, and I think we've done this before. There was one of these perennial posts. What is your most controversial Grateful Dead opinion? And those can be interesting, spurs conversation. And what I decided to do was poll my friends here, Game and Knob, to go through the list and give me two of the comments and send them over to me. I don't know which two they are. I put them into a spreadsheet and I randomized it. So the game, the little hook here is going to be that I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna guess who I think gave me that suggestion. So a little bit of a game show here before we get into tonight's show. So let me flip over to my spreadsheet. All right, so the first one reads as follows. Here's mine. Well, I don't know, because it's random, right?
I know. I was just trying to ruin the game as a joke. Anyway, keep going.
All right, and you succeeded. Okay, here's mine. User Flednanders83. I love that. Crazy Fingers does not translate good live. I skip over it almost every time, except for when I happen to be listening to 6976. Oof. Crazy Fingers does not translate good live. I skip over it. Skipping over is a game thing. Knob. I think we've talked about Knob's love of Crazy Fingers, so I'm gonna guess game on that one.
That was in fact me.
Wow.
It is. I mean, I don't skip it. I don't agree with every single word in that comment, but I definitely prefer if there's an ideal version of Crazy Fingers, it is the tighter studio version. There's some cool jams and some live versions, but they almost always butcher those harmonies,
Huh.
I
which is one of
feel
my
like
favorite parts of the song.
I definitely agree with that though. I love Crazy Fingers, but I can't tell you one good live Crazy Fingers. Even Dead and Company Crazy Fingers suck.
You know what was a great
Well,
Crazy
yeah,
Fingers
Dead and Co.
was
Crazy Fingers suck.
Fare Thee Well Crazy Fingers, I think. That's the one that
Interesting.
stands out for me with Trey.
There's
Interesting.
But you're right, I can't really think of one that really from the Dead. But I never skip it, or I never think about skipping it. It's a great song.
But I don't.
Pretty song. I wish they jammed out the end more.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So I'm batting. Well, I don't want to talk about baseball right now. 0 for 1. Here we go. You can dislike his tone, but Brent was the most technically gifted singer in the Dead. Low bar though.
Oh, I wonder who did that one.
I'm guessing it's going to be Game, being the resident Brent head.
That one was actually no.
You all correct, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, 1 for 1. You want to talk about Brent's? Do you agree with the last thing there? Well, they can't hear that. There's some there's some cheering. That does not come through.
Oops.
It says low bar though. I don't agree with that. I do think that there's some incredible. I think Jerry's an incredibly gifted singer. I think Bobby's pretty good, but Jerry
70s Jerry can be in the conversation. The big thing with Jerry, it's a bit like
the 80s. Yeah, was a drop off, and actually, I think
it's kind of like calling The Simpsons one of the greatest TV shows of all time. Like, yes, if we're only talking about a very specific period of the career, yes, Jerry is the strongest singer in the Grateful Dead. If we are only talking about 1968 through 1980,
I'd say 79. Once he had that laryngitis 79. In January,
yeah. But once
he had his moments. The 90s.
That was 78. The laryngitis.
I thought it was. Oh, you're right. It was January 78. Okay, so Game, you want to give us your comment here? Brent was the most technically gifted singer. Technically gifted.
Yeah, I don't have any. I can't be like, well,
just fanboying. Standing Brent.
Brent hits this, the sonatas or whatever the shit. I have no idea.
The sonatas.
Is he driving a Hyundai or something?
Yes, he definitely would, because lifetime warranty. Brent's that kind of guy. But I do genuinely think, and I mean this, that when he sings, that it's the best of anybody on stage.
Like solo, or when he's backup, or both?
Any.
Okay.
Any. And that's not to say and you're also right. Jerry up till 1980. Basically up until Brent showed up. Jerry was, the best. But then it just so happened Jerry, went down.
Yeah.
Right around that same time.
Yeah, freebasing will do that.
And yes,
and
will.
2 packs
I think
or 3 packs of
I think we're
unfiltered
discounting the vocal prowess of one Phil Lesh.
But so I
thought you were gonna say Vince just to troll with me.
I thought it,
because I'll agree with that take, but
Vince is too easy to joke about.
Bobby I can take or leave. It's like he's good. But it's like,
Bobby's
I don't know.
on, he sounds nice, but he can also sound very bad.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I can pick any particular time where I would think like Brent sounded awful. Even when he did sound awful, So
I was gonna say, besides that 186 show where he stays on stage and wails.
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, besides that one.
What? We all have our dark moments.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh, right. King.
Most of ours are not memorialized on soundboard recordings.
All right, okay. I'm going to move on here because I'm Next 1 for 1. I got to see how I do here. We have one from True42. Jerry saying rap/hip hop isn't real music is such a disappointing boomer take. And there is a video out there where I think it was the early 90s where Jerry did make that take. Who do I think did the disappointing boomer take? I'm gonna go with Game again.
Either of us.
I'm gonna go with Game again.
You are correct.
All right. So, well, actually, we don't have to do the last one because I know whose it is.
I love rap music.
Nice.
I listen to rap all of the time. So yeah, the fact that he thinks it's shit kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a sign of the time as well. You know, I don't know what kind of rap he was exposed to.
Even watching that clip, it's very like old man grumbles at
yeah,
cloud.
It's a little condescending. It's a little like I hear you. It's like Papa Jerry kind of.
Because it's one of those things where it's if he just said I don't like this, that's fine. I can't
right,
argue
but he tried
with him.
to
I
explain
can't take that away from it. But he said that it wasn't music, and I'm like, all right, this is where you lose me.
Yeah, and then he kind of went into an explanation that didn't quite make sense either.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last one, and you know, Jay Garcia, known hippie, he might have those takes from time to time. Okay,
True. It's just surprising when he worked with the greatest rapper of all time, Pigpen. I mean, I think Jerry's problem with modern rap is that modern rappers aren't telling their audience members to fuck each other enough. No,
and also they changed the definition of rap. It's not just about just talking on the microphone about whatever the hell you want, pocket pool,
That's
whatever.
True. Exactly. I mean, when is the last time you heard Ice Cube use the phrase "get your hands out of your pockets"?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Rap's really gone downhill though. All right. Speaking of, interestingly, in the second set, there's a Love Late, and Bobby does the rap.
He does do the rap.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate, but we'll get to that. All right, the last one here, and we're not going to talk about this too much, but because I know it's knobs. The band really needed to cut choruses down. Interesting. They got repeated too much and went on way too long. Don't you let your deal go down. Fire, fire on the mountain. Okay. Roll away the dude. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. This is just a gripe about jam band music, I think. All right.
Well, yeah.
I'm taking away your jam band card there. No.
You
that,
skip one dogs in a pile show because you're sick, and then they're taking your jam band card away.
I do feel like that
Obama's
is like,
America.
I do feel like that is like a ground rule of jam band. It's just to
it's like
shit.
Yeah, it's like
fine, all power to them, but sometimes
their instrumental sections were way too long. These jam bands jammed too much.
It's not the jamming that's the problem. It's when the chorus is one single line repeated over and over and over and over. And if it's a full chorus, I can even get behind that. But when it's a song like Franklin's Tower and it is just roll away the dew, roll away the dew, roll away the dew, roll away the dew. You get a little tired.
Do you even like the Grateful Dead?
Yes, I do, and I have to defend this point like 3 times a year on this podcast. But I really like the Grateful Dead. I think all of the songs that are referenced in that post, besides "Row Jimmy," are all very good songs.
Yeah. Just as a Gen Zer, I'm sus, as they say, of your Grateful Dead fandom. But I'm a millennial, so I'm sure other people are sus about my fandom. All right, let's continue before I turn this.
You don't see John Mayer and Friends 10 times because you don't like the Grateful Dead. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I mean, you could be making just terrible life decisions. But here we are on a Grateful Dead podcast, so clearly, I'm going to kick it over to Game. Let's jump into the show. I got some baseballs to watch. Oh, I'm batting 750, so I'm doing good.
There we go. All right, the main event
tonight.
Boom. The main event for this week is once again September 3rd, 1985, from the Starlight Theatre in old Kansas City, Missouri, on a Tuesday night. Set 1. They kicked off with Feel Like a Stranger, into They Love Each Other. Then they blessed us with a Little Red Rooster into Dire Wolf. Then we got Cassidy, Big Railroad Blues, Music Never Stopped, and Don't Ease Me In. Knob, what were your thoughts on set one?
Okay, here's how I beat not liking the Grateful Dead allegations. I really enjoyed set one. I
Wow.
thought it was an absolute blast. It's not the most exploratory set. There's no crazy jams or anything outside of a handful of examples. But it's an 85 set one. That's not what you're getting. That's not what you want to get. What you want is a rip-roaring party of a set, and one that is about as tightly played as possible, and this is that. This is a set where it truly was hard for me to find songs that I liked more than other songs, because everything was played incredibly well, incredibly tightly. Yeah, I really liked it. I might not speak this positively about set 2, but I really liked set 1. Stranger is a phenomenal opener here. I often with jam bands, a lot of the time with the Dead, it usually takes them a couple of songs to get in the groove. Very rarely does the opening song make me go, holy shit, they are on tonight. I usually go, that was good, that was fun. And then a couple of songs in, I will feel like, okay, I really get what we're doing. We're all on the same page. This is a lot of fun. Stranger blows me away right out of the gate. The energy is great. The playing is tight. There is really fun interplay with the whole band. It's just a Stranger I like listening to. It's got a very fun, like, strutting down the street kind of energy. Brent's keys add some very fun textures, and then Jerry's solo at the end just ties it all together. It's really good. Into a pretty nice They Love Each Other. It's got a little more of a groove than you usually get out of slow They Love Each Other. A really expressive solo from Jerry here. It loses a little bit of steam towards the end, but it's a very good They Love Each Other. A nice up-tempo Rooster. Early on in the thing, I wrote, as long as Bob doesn't fuck it up, I could see this joining the Rooster pantheon. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, you get a couple of those usual vaguely annoying high notes. I would say that it was a pretty okay Bob solo, and I would say that it is a very good rendition of Little Red Rooster.
It made the pantheon of roosters?
This is the third song. This is the third Rooster to join my pantheon of roosters.
Wow.
Jerry's solo at the end is killer. Brent's solo is killer. It's a good Rooster. Then that takes us to a very good Dire Wolf, a boppy Dire Wolf. Despite being acoustic, it still nails that like campfire sing-along vibe, a tight little solo, and then the rhythm section adds a lot to keep this song from ever losing steam. Cassidy is, without question, one of my favorite parts of this set. The drummers come in hot, the song itself is really good, the harmonies are very tight between Bob and Brent, and then it really shines in the jam. Cards on the table. This is a Cassidy that is brought to you by the letter C, without question. But it is a really great example in that jam of everyone building on top of the foundation that other members of the band have laid for them. Every time someone throws out a new idea, you can hear the rest of the band go, oh, cool, if you do that, what if I do this? And I was floored by the fact that the Cassidy was under 6 minutes with all the places they were able to kind of feel in the jam, but I think that speaks to how fucking fast it was. Big Railroad Blues is really fun. Jerry mixes up the first two verses, and it's fun to hear him try to recover. And then Big Railroad Blues is just a runaway freight train of energy. And then I loved This Music Never Stopped. My first note is zippy, boppy. No, This Music Never Stopped is really fucking fast. And despite that, not a single note was missed. The drummers nailed every hit. Jerry nailed every run of fast 16th notes. It was just crazy good. At one point, instead of saying people joining hand in hand while the music plays the band, Bobby said, people joining hand in hand let the music play the band. And I thought that was just an interesting...
Profound.
It had to be an accident, but it felt almost like an invocation to the muse. And that being said, the music is playing the band here. And despite its speed, the later jam in The Music Never Stopped is still able to get to a really sensitive and pretty place. This was a really good Music Never Stopped. Into a very nice Don't Ease Me In. My only note is, if you're not on your feet dancing during Don't Ease Me In, there is something wrong with you. So yeah, I cannot speak highly enough of set 1 of 9-3-85. What did you think, Fig?
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't think I liked it as much. Now, I will say...
You're not giving a breathy end of rom-com speech about this first set?
9-30-85, I love you, man! I will say that this show has probably my favorite Grateful Dead opener of all time.
Yeah.
Just by song choice. And then my favorite Grateful Dead encore of all time. The opener being Feels Like a Stranger, and the encore being It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. So the show had that going for it. As far as the show itself, yeah, I felt like there's some hiccups. Stranger, I just said was okay. Like, you know, it was a good way to start. Listened to it a couple of times. Didn't get any takeaways. They love each other. Definitely agree with Knob's take about a great groove. Jerry's vocals sound pretty good, and I did like Jerry's solo. I thought it was very fun. Little Red Rooster, yeah, I was. I wrote decent solos all around, and in parentheses, I wrote this is loaded with meaning, meaning that all three soloists actually were pretty damn decent. But the best I rated was King Brent's church organ solo. Dire Wolf was an okay version. Jerry starts sounding pretty bad. He was having some, it was the kind of like whiny, kind of plaintive Jerry sound that he gets in the 80s. And that was something that he flirted with throughout the night. Cassidy, I wrote, was a good zippy version. I still don't know how to talk about Cassidy all these many years into the podcast, and so I'm just going to continue on with it.
We've been doing the podcast for less than 2 years.
Okay, it feels like forever. We've listened to a lot of Grateful Dead music.
That is true.
And I still have no idea how to rate Cassidy or how to talk about a Cassidy. Big River Blues. This was a great rock version, though Jerry always does forget the lyrics. I wrote that this is low-key my favorite of the night so far. And then Music Never Stops. Was just okay. The jam doesn't really go anywhere, probably because sometimes they end the show with Music Never Stops. This one, they needed to jam into Don't Ease. So I think the jam just kind of transitioned to Don't Ease Me In, which is one that, usually is just kind of something that happens. But this one was phenomenal. I thought this was a great version of Don't Ease Me In. This was kind of the breakdown of Music Never Stopped, and it was an awesome way to end the first set, which it seems to me got better. And I will kick it over to Game.
All right. I really liked the first set. Stranger was good. Really enjoyed They Love Each Other. Red Rooster was great. Dire Wolf was great. Cassidy was okay. Big Railroad was okay. Music Never Stopped was good, and Don't Ease Me In was great. Really, really liked set 1. Not so much on set 2.
No.
All right, set 2 gave us we got my favorite song right off the bat, Cryptical Envelopment.
Yeah,
look at that. I practiced earlier today. Then we got the other one, Into Eyes of the World. Then we got, of course, the most powerful singers, Don't Need Love. Then we got drums. Then we got Nobody's Fault But Mine. Truckin', Smokestack Lightning, Comes a Time, Turn On Your Love Light, and then an encore of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. Fig, what were your thoughts on set 2?
Okay, so this show is a bit historical in the sense that I believe this was our last ever That's It for the Other Ones suite. Knob, correct me if I'm wrong? Okay.
That is correct.
And that is Cryptical Envelopment into the other one, into Cryptical Envelopment. And you kind of get a sense of why.
Yeah.
on this show because the band just didn't seem ready for Cryptical Envelopment. Jerry doesn't really know the lyrics. The band isn't really strong either. However, they are ready for the other one. It was kind of a night and day kind of slap you in the face difference, just based on the strength of playing. And that one, and actually that was one I liked a lot. And then the final Cryptical, I can see why they put it to bed. Jerry had some serious. Oh, I wrote constipation voice, like he had to do. It was like that. It was like, ugh, that doesn't need to be heard anymore. And then it just kind of fizzles out and becomes Eyes, which was a very quick tempoed Eyes. Don't have much more else to say. I don't need love. I wrote I don't need this song, and apparently neither did the Dead because I don't think they played it that often.
No.
I like the intro chord changes, but is there a chorus to the song? This is rhetorical. It doesn't need to be answered. Drums in Space. I actually listened and I liked it at first, and since Knob will try to kind of make a visual about it, I will say that it reminded me of wading through a jungle, like trying to like get through a jungle with a machete or something. Very tribal drumming. And the Phils are now losing as I'm speaking. Nobody's Fault was okay. I like Brent's solo on this one. I got a like church organ solo though. Trucking. This was one of the unfortunate sex change jokes. Trucking, and that's kind of overshadowed it for me. It's another Trucking. Otherwise, Smokestack is I think the same song as Nobody's Fault but My Own. And I just wrote I would have loved to see whether this was actually on the set list or Bobby just wanted to go back and play his own version of Nobody's Fault but My Own where he sings it because Jerry sings Nobody's Fault but My Own. When it comes to time, Jerry's voice finally sounds really great. And yeah, it was a good one. Love Light. Bobby plays Love Light quite often. Of course, it's all an homage to Pigpen, but I'd never heard him do such a Pigpen impression. Like he was doing like the full on rap, and he was trying to get people to like say hi to each other and hit on each other or whatever. And it was just not great. And It's All Over Now, Baby Blue is my favorite encore and did not disappoint this time. So that's my take on set 2. Kick it over to Knob.
Sure. I unlike my feelings on set 1, I would not run through the airport and then yell my review at set 2.
It's always been you, set 1. It's always been you.
That's kind of how it felt. Don't get me wrong. Set 2 is still good. It just is not as good. In the way that it was a little bit hard for me to differentiate the good and the bad songs in set 1, you can tell the good and the bad songs in set 2. Yeah, the Cryptical was rough. You understand why they shelved it after this. Jerry gets lost more than once as the band struggles to help him over the finish line. But like you said, as soon as we get to the other one, Jerry, along with the rest of the band, come to life as they are settling in much more comfortable territory. The first jam of the other one hits a really nice peak, goes to a really cool place. A well-timed first verse drop by Bob. I will say that I do wish things kind of got cooking. I wish there was like another jam after verse 2 of the other one, rather than jumping right back into Cryptical. But Cryptical 2 sounded more sure of itself than the first one did, so I'll give it that. And then that takes us to Eyes of the World, which I thought was really fun. It's very dancey. I think Brent adds a lot. This is another excellent example of the rhythm section kind of keeping the drive moving forward on this one. Some great Jerry solos. I do feel like the last jam gets a little lost, but in that, they do find some cool places before heading to the next song, which I think is just kind of boring. I hate to say that. I always try and have something more intelligent or thought out, but I'm just kind of bored. Brent sounds fine, and I do agree that the opening changes sound nice, but I get why this song was only played for about 2 years and then dropped forever. I will agree that drums is very good. I thought that this was a drums worth checking out. It's relatively short, and the pitched percussion helps keep things interested. It feels like there's a defined arc and purpose to what is being played. It doesn't. There are some drums where it just sounds like they're hitting drums to make noises for 14 minutes while the rest of the band does drugs backstage or whatever. But this is one where it sounds like they are playing drums because they had something they wanted to do on the drums. And it is really cool and genuinely worth checking out. Space is fine. For the first half, it almost sounds like a scary, fucked up eyes. And then it gets real small and like sinister when it is just Jerry soloing for like 3 minutes. I wouldn't say it's great, but it is cool. Drums is definitely the better of the two. Nobody's Fault is a lot of fun. It's also just neat. Okay, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, having when it was Little Red Rooster and CC Rider in the same show, and how interesting it was that they picked two 12-bar blueses that are so similar to each other to play in the same show. What I appreciate here is that there are 3 12-bar blueses. I mean, I guess Smokestack's not a 12-bar. Anyway. But the fact that Rooster, Big Railroad Blues, and Nobody's Fault all sound so different from each other is pretty cool. Anyway, that takes us to a really tight Truckin. It's a short one. I don't know the last time I heard a Truckin this short.
Yeah.
The energy was good. I'm with you about cringing when Bobby does the sex change joke, but otherwise, a fine Truckin. The transition into Smokestack genuinely got a laugh out of me, and I don't know why, but it was very funny to just suddenly hear Bob go, "Whoa, Smokestack Lightning!"
It was pretty abrupt.
It's also odd. Okay, I've never understood. They've done the Truck and Smokestack pairing a lot over the years. I even heard them do it with Dead & Co. last year. I have never understood why they slow it down as soon as they start Smokestack. I'm always like, keep it in that sort of truckin' world. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a fine Smokestack, but it definitely is worth it for the initial moment of what the hell is going on when Bobby starts it. What were you gonna say, Fig?
Oh, no, it was just like it's an extreme slowdown.
Yes.
And then to do that live and to get 2 drummers on the same tempo and everybody else on the same tempo, it's a lot.
And especially this late in the show, especially when you're about to go into the ballads.
Yeah.
Beside the point. Despite Jerry's voice sounding rough, or maybe because Jerry's voice sounds rough, this is a lovely Comes a Time. I really enjoyed it. There's some great guitar work here. It's just very good. It's very felt. It's very, I don't know, the feelings and the emotions hit just right. And then, we get into a zippy love light where Bob is channeling Pigpen harder than we've ever seen him channel Pigpen before. I like when he asks the band to wait a minute, and then they don't. They just keep playing for a second before they realize Bob told him to wait a minute. And then I like that he just starts his rant with, "Sometimes you get up here, you can't think of a thing to say." And then he just says a bunch of stuff that his friends said 20 years ago. Yeah. It was a good... I wouldn't go that far. It was a fine love light. It was not a bad love light. I wouldn't rate it highly, though. And then, that takes us into the Baby Blue Encore. It's a little bit slower than I tend to expect out of Grateful Dead Baby Blues. But that being said, Jerry feels it and sings the hell out of it, and it's a nice way to cap off this show. Anyway, what did you think, Game?
Cryptical was okay. Eyes of the World I really enjoyed. Don't Need Love I hated.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you just break up with King Brent?
No.
Definitely
Just
a little rough patch.
We'll definitely make up, but that Don't Need Love needs to be gonzos. Drums I didn't skip. Nobody's Fault But Mine was okay. Truckin' good, Smokestack good, Comes a Time great. Here's a controversial dead opinion. I think I like Bobby Love Lights more than I like Pigpen Love Lights.
You're out of your mind.
I don't know.
And
You could put that in the controversial opinion thread, and I would downvote you 100 times.
That's
Oh,
actually
I would make
that's probably a
new
better
accounts.
controversial opinion take than 90% of what was actually on that thread. So
is that thread real old?
no,
Yeah,
I think it
it's
just
from,
happened today.
like 12
But
hours ago.
you're not getting.
Oh.
I'm sure there's not that much engagement at this point.
Oh, I'll post on there.
Hey,
Yeah,
we
there's
made a
822
big show out
comments.
of it, so
I'll upvote you, buddy.
And to end it off, Baby Blue was great. I love when they do Baby Blue, and it was no different tonight. Baby Blue was good.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead here, and I'm standing at my studio desk. Let me go ahead and get the show sheet back up here and wrap
Standing
this.
at my desk.
Standing at my desk, here I am, crimson white
I
and
didn't skip
gold.
drums in space.
'Cause there was no space to skip. All right. Scarlet Fire is, of course, doesn't exist in our show anymore. Book of the Dead.
Well, Knob doesn't like Fire on the Mountain anyway, so.
fire on the mountain.
Fire.
You put words in my mouth. And I get essays written about how I hate fun that clearly don't still sit with me 4 months later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask just generally here. Does this show make anyone's Book of the Dead?
No. Set 1 makes my book of set 1s. And if set 2 in any way, shape, or form lived up to it, I would say yes without question, but no.
Yeah, set 1 was really good, but set 2 just wasn't it for me.
Yeah. Which I think takes care of the next segment.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to be featuring set 1 of September 3rd, 1985 once our podcast wraps up, so please stick around. And who Fig, I'll start this off with you. Who is your mother trucker of
Okay,
this
is
show?
it okay? Like, are we doing this instead of MVP? Are we rolling with the mother trucker?
Yeah, I think you
I'm-
should explain it one more time just in case anyone is tuning into this episode and missed last week's.
Sure, yeah, because actually nobody listened to last week's episode.
Whoa, 39 people are going to be really mad at you that you've called them nobody.
All right, well, okay. 39 diehard fans who I love listened to last week's episode, and for the hundreds who did not, it was a early show, late show situation, and I guess Truckin' was the big hit single because it was a 1970s show, and so they played Truckin' twice, and so we did a little segment about which Truckin' we liked best, and I called that segment because I'm a very funny person, Mother Trucker, who was the Mother Trucker, which Truckin' was the Mother Trucker. And then I thought, hey, maybe we could use that instead of MVP. So we're rolling with that because whatever. It's just a podcast. We can do whatever we want. So I'll kick it back over to Game for him to do his thing.
Well, who is your mother trucker?
Yeah, don't go to me.
Don't go to you. Knob, who is your
I was just
mother
thinking about what to say, not to how to answer it.
Knob, who
know.
is your mother trucker?
That's a good question. This is a night where everybody's pretty on. It would be between Jerry and Brent for me. I'm gonna say Jerry, but I want everyone to know that Brent is a close second.
I'm
What?
God. I'm gonna piggyback and agree with you on that. Only because I really hated that song from Brent in set 2. Other than that, it would be Brent for me, but yeah, Jerry gets it.
You know what? Maybe cocaine is the mother trucker tonight.
Mother Trucker.
That would be fitting. You know what? Change mine to cocaine.
I didn't think it was that cooked out of a show. That did not immediately jump out to me.
Oh, you gotta listen to that music never stopped again.
I did though. All right, so Mother Trucker for me. I'm gonna go with the Rhythm Devils because it was actually a drums that I kind of really liked.
It was a great night for the Rhythm Devils.
Yeah, actually it was. And also it's kind of like the edgy comment. Speaking of comments, Game, kick it away.
We got one, and a little help on that username. How do you...
Arcturian?
Arcturian.
Arcturian?
Hey,
Arcturian. I think Arcturus is a star in the night sky.
oof. Well, that would be
Arcturus.
fitting. Grateful Dead fan. Octorian Ally responded to our Reddit thread. Rough cryptical in this show.
Yeah.
Great set list, but the performance is unfortunately subpar. I will agree with that on set 2. Won't agree with that on set 1.
I would agree. I think Arcturian Ally, they get me. I get them.
Next week, oh Lord, next week
That's the spirit.
we're featuring
Say it.
April 6th, 1994.
Yay.
From the Miami Arena in, of course, Miami, Florida. It is a Wednesday
Just a
show.
wang dang doodle.
This is gonna be dreadful.
We did have 4/4/94 a couple of months ago. I do not remember what we thought about it. I can guess, but
I feel like 94 is rough. I think 93 is one there you just never know. 94, 95, it's few and far between there.
What's the notation next to El Paso on the?
Bobby was playing acoustic guitar.
Yes, you're
right. Okay.
Which needs to be noted into the world.
I'm trying to see what looks to be the worst thing to me of this show.
That's the spirit. It's Broken Arrow without question.
Yeah. Broken Arrow.
Wang dang doodle, Broken Arrow.
Yeah, I'll take 10. I was about to say 100, and then I did take that down. I'll take 10 Way to Go Homes before I take a Broken Arrow.
We get them all next week.
I do like Jack Straw,
Jackaroo.
You can call it Aces or no. Oh, back-to-back Jacks. I like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I like that.
I think they've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, back-to-back Jack.
Aces.
8 shows with back-to-back Jack Straws and Jackaroos.
Nice. And we're blessed with one for this week that everybody will listen to, and we'll talk about it in 1 week's time. Oh God, way to go home.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's go ahead and do our bookkeeping so we can watch the old Fightin' Phils do their thing. As always, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button and like and share with any and all of your Grateful Dead loving friends and family. You may find us at wherever podcasts are downloaded. However, not one that loosely rhymes with "I'm not throwing away my shot of eye."
Okay, theater nerd.
If you use...
Good game making Hamilton references on our podcast in year of our Lord 2023.
If you use a service that happens to loosely rhymes with "I'm not throwing away my shot of eye," you will not find us on that one. However, you will find us on most other major podcast platforms. If you like to get your podcast the old-fashioned way, you may find us at helponthewaypod.podbean.com. You may also email us at helponthewaypod@gmail.com. You may communicate with us on Reddit at reddit.com/r/gratefuldead. You may also reach us on YouTube at youtube.com/@helponthewaypod. I do have literally 3 videos in the pipeline coming as of tomorrow.
Nice.
So there's a bunch of videos coming.
All right.
And other than that, that is it for me. Any final parting words from my friends, Knob or Fig?
Emmanuel Rivera pops out to first baseman Bryce Harper, 2 outs.
Go Birds.
Wait a second.
And thank you once again for listening to this week's episode of the Help on the Way podcast.
You know it's gonna get stranger. Let's get on with the show. little red rooster, too lazy to crow for day. Just a little red rooster, too lazy to crow for day. Keep everything in the barnyard, people, upset in every way. Dogs begin to bark now, and the hounds begin to howl. Dogs begin to bark now, hounds begin to howl. Watch out, stray cat people, little red roosters on the prowl. You see my little red rooster, won't you please drive him home? You see the little red rooster, please drive him home. There's no peace in the barnyard, people, since the little red rooster's been gone. lazy to procreate. Got me a little red rooster, too lazy, lazy to procreate. Keep everything in the barnyard, people, upset in every way. by the silver stream. I can tell by the mark he left you in his dream. Oh, child of countless trees. Oh, child of boundless seas. What you are and what you're meant to be. Speaks his name, though you were born to me. Born to me, Cassidy. Lost now on the country miles in his cabin. I can tell by the way you smile, he's rolling back. Come wash the nighttime green. Come grow the scorched ground green. Blow the horn, tap the tambourine. 'Cause the gap of the dark years in between you and me, Cassidy. Great beating and icy heart. Catch cold draws the coffin car. Then it goes and now he should start with a cry. Fly to the seabird. Scouting like lost words. Wheel through the storm and fly. Fare thee well. Let your life proceed by its own design. Nothing to tell now. Let the words be yours. I'm done with mine. Fare thee well. Let your life proceed by its own design. Nothing to tell now. Let the words be yours. I'm done with mine. Done with mine. There's mosquitoes on the river. Fish are rising up like birds. It's been hot for 7 weeks. Too hot to even speak. Did you hear what I just heard? It might have been a third. Or it could have been the wind. But there seems to be a beat. I can feel it in my feet. So here it comes again. worlds collide, peace and love. Crazy rooster crowing midnight. Bombs and lightning roll along. Old men sing about their dreams. Women laugh and children scream. The band keeps playing on. Keep on dancing through the daylight. Through the morning air with a song. No one's noticed, but the band's all back and gone. Will it ever get it all? a short break. We'll be back in just a little bit.